Yasos. Hello savvy travellers and friends. Welcome to Larnaca in Cyprus on a beautifully bright February day. And although I'm not wearing a coat and it is 14 degrees centigrade, there is actually, as you can probably hear, quite a wind, and perhaps I'd be better off having a coat on like Cypriots, but I'm British and we certainly don't need that. Actually, I just saw somebody swimming in the sea. He's got out, but that must be chilly. Anyhow, this is Mackenzie Beach, which literally borders Larnaca Airport. It's not too far from the city centre, and it is one of the, if not the liveliest beach in the summer, surrounded with busy restaurants, lots of music, noise, and beautiful sand, and great, often normally calm sea to swim in. Why am I here? Well, I'm going to take a walk towards the city centre and try and find a restaurant offering fish meze. I really feel like a varied feast and a spread of fish. There's nothing like Larnaca, there's nothing like Cyprus, or of course Greece, for that. Being a little bit of an aviation freak, another thing that's wonderful about this beach is the fact that it's right by Larnaca Airport. And thankfully this isn't Heathrow Airport, but it's not Barbados either. Somewhere in the middle in terms of aircraft movement. So once on landing, most of the aircraft do a great big loop over Larnaca Bay. They come back in low over the water and land just at the airport over there behind me. Having walked to the end of the beach and reached the border with the airport, I'm going to have to walk all the way back down Mackenzie's and to the fishing port. That should take me around about 20 minutes. See you a little later. Here we are at Larnaca's very small but delightful fishing port. That didn't take 20 minutes. Either Google Maps is wrong or I'm much fitter than I thought. When you see how fresh the fish is here at the harbour side, you know you're in for a treat in the fish restaurants as well. There are actually two fish restaurants here at the harbour, and they're both very large and enormously popular with Cypriots, particularly at weekends. This is a Monday lunchtime, so it's going to be a lot less busy. One of them is called Stroll, and the other is called Zephyros. In terms of their Google reviews, they both score an average of 4.4, so that's excellent, and it's really a toss-up between the two. So after some consideration, I've opted for the Zephyros Restaurant. Very kindly, they agreed to give me meze for one person. Normally it's a minimum of 2 people. Meze is something traditional around the whole Mediterranean. Here in Cyprus, it's a tradition that goes back centuries, and you can't really call it just a meal. It's a true social occasion, and also there are elements that really are Cypriot. So on arrival, more or less, you get met with a mixture of bread, nicely toasted, olives, and obviously a village salad which has got feta cheese, tomato, it's got cucumber and then salad underneath, plenty of wedges of lemon to enjoy with all of the fish. If we're talking about refreshment, then there's nothing better than the local beer, which is called Kio, and is absolutely superb in my experience. One thing I would say is that sometimes the meze are served quite quickly, and the reason for that is that everybody's enjoying a whole mix of everything. You don't have to eat it in any particular order. And I've taken so long setting up my camera and filming one or two things that some of the hot dishes have arrived already. So let's have a look at what they are, and we can move on to the cold starters later. It really doesn't make any difference. But we've got some nice small fish, not quite sure what fish they are, but small fish. We've got some squid, we've got some calamari in different forms, and we've got some prawns as well on this. And also a nice healthy portion of fries. These are always superb in Cyprus. The Cypriot potatoes are really tasty, and as I say, the food just keeps coming. As I was filming that, the next lot came as well, and here we've got some grilled octopus, some mushrooms, which I love, and a half calamari which has been grilled. Let's get around to finally pouring this beer as well. Cheers. Lovely, light and refreshing. Okay, so what am I going to dig into first? I have to start with my favourite really, which is octopus and calamari before it gets cold. No one sadly to share the occasion with, so it doesn't really matter what order I eat anything in. Let's have a look at the octopus. Nice and warm. So flavoursome, quite tender, not chewy as it can be in some places, and you can literally taste the grill. They've also been cooked, or rather doused, in olive oil afterwards, like most things in Cyprus, and that tastes great. Grilled calamari, again lovely and soft, flavoursome, absolutely perfect. I almost feel as if I've been out to sea this morning fishing myself, and now I'm enjoying a harvest. And the batter is beautiful. It's very, very light and crisp. The fried calamari is even softer than the grilled calamari, and obviously each single item is prepared with care, because the batter is much, much thinner on the calamari than on the fish, and it gives a completely different texture, really. Now the chips, which look to me as if they've been lightly fried, super soft inside, not particularly crisp on the outside, but it doesn't matter because it's a really beautiful texture, as I say, but a deep, earthy potato taste. If you've not had fries in Cyprus, I urge you to come here on a holiday and try them, because the potatoes here really are out of this world. You may say the potatoes are a very humble vegetable, and that's true, but there's something about obviously the environment here in Cyprus where they're grown, the fertility of the land, which makes them particularly delicious. Gosh, I just love prawns, and these ones are so fresh that they're tasty. I'm giving up all decorum, I'm just ripping the skins off, trying to do it as quickly as possible, not to keep you waiting. There we go. Lemon and olive oil, absolutely fantastic. Totally different to a prawn sandwich from the English high street. And finally, we should try one of the fish, I think. Easy to remove from the bone. I'm going to eat it with the skin. Beautiful white flaky fish. So fresh, so easy to bite into, and again enhanced with some lemon juice. All of the three fish on that plate were different. One of them was actually a small whitebait, then there was a red mullet, which was particularly soft and succulent flesh, and then there was a fish I've never heard of in English called a Pandora fish. If you know what it's called in England, let me know. Or perhaps it is a Pandora fish and we simply don't have it. That reminds me of Avatar, Pandora. And whilst I come to think about it, part of the art of Meze is actually its genius is in its simplicity. There's no fancy cooking here, but everything is of the highest quality, fresh, beautifully prepared, and totally satisfying. Okay, take a little piece of toasted bread, and I think I'm going to start with the tahini, because this is probably the actual dip that I eat the least of, and will enjoy discovering the flavour of most. Very earthy, quite sour. You can tell a lemon flavour, but then equally that creamy flavour of sesame comes through. And I've always really loved sesame. You know, I always look for the burger buns with the most sesame seeds on them, or those lovely sweet treats with sesame seeds in them, baked in a kind of, hard sugar or toffee afterwards as a dessert. It's great. This is lovely as well. Here's the distinctive pink colour of the taramasalata. Now, taramasalata is made of carpro, olive oil, lemon juice, and it may have a little bit of stale bread in it as well. In a good one, they say that it should be around about 70% carpro, and if you can actually see unbroken eggs, that's a good sign. And here, you can definitely see unbroken eggs. Let's see what it tastes like. Well, this is an absolute favourite of mine because it's so creamy with that kind of fairly fishy flavour, and at the same time the little sharp tingle from the lemon. So I'm very happy with this, and you can also feel the texture as well of the carpro in the dip, which is great. 10 out of 10. I've deliberately left the tzatziki to last because I think this is the most familiar dip to us in the rest of Europe and probably North America as well. And when you look at that, it kind of looks like a mix of sour cream, lots of herbs, and also cucumber, which gives it that freshness, which means it's very nice to have really at this part of the meal as well. Let's give it a try. Super fresh, yogurty, cleanses the palate. No garlic in this one, sometimes there's garlic, but to be honest I prefer it without that pronounced taste, particularly when you're also competing with so many other tastes as part of the meal. All of these dips, absolute top quality. Yet again, my mother is going to be aghast when she sees me eating all this food, but I remind you, Mum, this is fish, it's from the ocean, it's grilled, it's in olive oil, there's salad, it's really healthy, and it's going to make me even stronger than before. Right, I'm going to carry on, enjoy the dips for a little bit, enjoy my beer, then I'll get the bill and I'll give you a summary outside. As is typical with restaurants in Cyprus as well, they came around with a little added sign of hospitality before I left the restaurant as well. They were very sweet candied fruits, which is also a big tradition here in Cyprus. There's no charge for that at all. Believe it or not, the whole bill came to 28 euros, and that included service, although I did leave a tip on top. In other currencies, that's 140 Romanian lei. I say that because a lot of people seem to be watching this channel from Romania. It's around about 29 US dollars and about £23.50. So I think, considering the scale, the gargantuan scale of the meal, that is just absolutely brilliant value for money. So if you're in Larnaca, don't forget to come and experience Cypriot Meze at the uncomparable Zephyros Restaurant. After all that food, it's time to take a stroll this way this time, in the direction of central Larnaca, always following the beach. If you enjoyed this film, there are a couple more recommendations about to appear on the screen. One for a meal that I had in Romania, enjoying traditional cabbage rolls, and another one as well, introducing you to the London tradition of pie and mash. Wherever you are, thank you so much for watching this film. Consider subscribing, you are appreciated, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.